So we have in the warming cabinet, I've got 6 buckets of about £15 each, so that's about £90 of honey in there, which is about as much as I do at a time. The temperature in the cabinet at the moment, you can see, is 13.2 degrees, and I have it set to go to a temperature to warm the honey to 50 degrees centigrade. And that is what we need to get it running enough to go through the filter I use. The honey's been in the warming cabinet now for about 24 hours at 50 degrees centigrade, which should be nice and runny. So we're now going to filter it. And because we're dealing with food for human consumption, you can see I've got a plastic apron on. As I work through, I will have a hairnet, getting dead cheap off eBay. The great things. I've wiped all the surfaces down with the Dettol antibacterial surface cleaner, and the filters which I'll be using are a coarse filter, a thin filter, sorry, and a coarse filter, and then we have the settling tank here. And you can see by the height of this that if I'm 6 feet, and this is quite high up, but down below here it's a nice height for when I want to jar the honey. So you've got to be able to get the jars and the scales underneath to do that. So it's going to be pouring the honey from the warming cabinet out of the jugs through the filters into here, and then leaving it for 24 or 48 hours for the bubbles to rise out of it to the surface. So when we jar it, which will be the next stage, it's nice and clear. The other thing in this room of mine is I have the heater on, so the temperature is about 20 degrees C. So it's nice and warm, the equipment is nice and warm. The reason for that is the honey stays nice and liquid, and it's easier for the bubbles to rise, and you then get a lovely clear product in the end. So we'll now prepare the filters, and this is a fine filter, and what we put into that, or what I do, is into that goes a very fine nylon mesh cloth filter, and on top of that, fitting inside it, is a coarse filter, so that as wax and debris are poured out of the bucket, they're caught by the coarse filter, and then the finer bits and pieces are caught by the nylon mesh filter and this filter, and then this goes into the settling tank. The arms on it, so you can see, and just sit on the top of it. So we're now ready to pour the honey through the filter in the settling tank. Final check at this stage is make sure that the valve of the settling tank is closed and locked tightly. It wouldn't be unusual for people to miss that, and the honey to go straight in the top and straight out the bottom. Bit of a mess. If the honey is warm enough, it should go through the filter without too much trouble. And then leaving it for 24 or 48 hours for the bubbles to rise out of it to the surface, so when we jar it, which will be the next stage, it's nice and clear.